It makes me laugh too. It's very funny. But anyways, let's continue onward to touring after the apocalypse.
More atmospheric shots of Japan. I think if you knew Japanese, like this show would make a little, not make
It
a
would
little
hit
more
hard.
sense, but you would pick up on like the little funny things that they're doing. Like in episode 1, when they were doing the word game on the motorcycle. Here in this episode, they make references to seagulls.
Yeah,
but
it's very just atmospheric if you don't know the language. It's a beautiful show, but there's a lot less dialogue going on than most any other, especially any anime on the list. Apocalypse Hotel had some stuff going on and there were storylines and it's like episodes are kind of leading into each other. Like this is all just one shots, it feels like.
so far. But yeah, there is a location in this show that appears in other animes. And I mean, obviously, it's in real life as well. But I will point those out when we get to them.
Ready.
It starts episode 3 of Touring After the Apocalypse with more atmospheric shots of Yoko and Irie on an overgrown highway charging their e-bike, which is at 11%, and then laying on a car, baking in the sun as Yoko has the last drop of their water.
This is a terrible idea. Don't lay on a car when the sun is out like that. Metal retains heat pretty well, and you would just cook yourself.
Like unnecessarily. You don't have any water and you're making yourself even hotter, so it doesn't.
Yeah, this
really
was a
make
terrible
sense.
idea. Yeah.
But Yoko is like, man, we gotta hydrate. And she looks over a bridge and says the water looks pretty clean to her. But Irie says she hears the sound of a river nearby. They head out and see cherry blossoms and find the river. And Yoko is like, yeah, let's drink this shit. But Irie is like, well, if it's contaminated, we're all gonna shit ourselves and die. Yoko scoops up some water in a bucket and puts in a water sensor and looks at the app on her phone, and the water passes all of the tests, but she's like, let's disinfect it to be sure. And I wrote here, I assume they did some sort of UV disinfection, and then they chugged some water.
Assumption as well.
See, this is how uncultured I am. I don't know how to purify water with UV. I don't eat tomatoes raw. Like, I'm a fucking loser, okay? All right, is that what you want
me to say?
You don't
eat onions raw either.
Yeah, I don't eat onions raw
either. So. Do you eat zucchinis raw, Greg?
Like, after I chop them up. I don't think I would, like, take a zucchini and just, like, chomp it like a banana.
You don't, like, lick the side and then chomp the top? That's what I do with my zucchinis.
Oh, I've been eating zucchini wrong. I was just eating it with my butt.
100.
So they disinfect the fucking water and they fucking drink water and they're like, water, great. Now Yoko says that she's hungry. So they go on a food hunt and find some houses and randomly pick one to go through first. They go through the houses but aren't finding any food, but they do find some liquor in one. But Yoko is like, well, that probably won't satisfy our hunger. And their hunt is still unsuccessful with empty bags and spoiled food. I don't know about them, but when I was younger, I normally drank my dinner. That was how I ended the night.
Yeah. There have been a few occasions where I have drank dinner as well. I don't recommend it, and you should eat dinner and then drink.
Yeah, because if you do the reverse, normally the food just comes back up.
Well, if you've got a weak bitch stomach, yeah, got him.
Oh, damn. I was drinking Patron at the bottle. Almost killed a thug, you know what I mean? They head back without food and just their bucket of water, but stumble upon a house that had a gate and looked to be locked up well.
The references, man, we're so old.
They enter, and Yoko is like, sick. This one hasn't been ransacked yet. And they search for food, and all they could collect were a bunch of spices, sauces, and sugar cubes. Yoko sees a ripped up calendar on the wall of Mount Fuji, and she says she had a weird dream when they were in Hakone. And then the chair she's sitting in breaks, and she falls on the ground. But as she does, she sees a little storage hatch built into the floor. They open it, and coincidence, they hit the jackpot of food, including canned goods, curry, and instant noodles. Yoko chops up the broken chair using her baton technique she learned from solo camping for two to make a fire so they can heat up their jackpot feast.
I was going to say, she just talks shit to the chair the whole time. She's like, this is for knocking me over, you bitch. And then she just like chops it up.
Yeah, she's like, how is it like not having legs? And then she cuts the legs off of the chair.
Yeah.
And then she just ate the meat raw. It was really weird.
She just ate the chair raw.
Irie is like, hey, I found a book. And it says anime on it. And they tear it up to use it as kindling for the fire.
How dare they? First of all,
They didn't even look through it first. They just
they didn't
tore it
even
up.
peep it, dude. They were like, "This is useless. Use it as Tinder," and then they rip a phone book in half of anime and then throw it in there.
And then Irie uses her little finger laser to get the fire started. They hang out at the house and chow down on canned goods, and they decide to spend the night in the house. And Yoko goes upstairs and finds a bedroom, but goes in and is like, whoops. Well, Irie, let's sleep downstairs instead. And in the bedroom, it's assumed that that's where the remains of the owners of the house were.
Yeah, well, I mean, you see the hand and the ring.
In the bed
So-
with bodies in it.
Yeah, it's not looking good for them.
They get changed into their pajamas, and Yoko says she wants to visit a place tomorrow. And she said her big sister says you can see all sorts of bikes from around the world there. Irie says they could get there easy by riding the Yuri Kamome as she falls asleep. And Yoko is like, ride a seagull? How do we do that? But Yoko stays up a little longer and looks outside with a sad look in her eye. And she's like, man, Tokyo is so dark. And Kamome is seagull in Japanese.
You said it, and I was like, "Oh wow, Greg's really coming along with his Japanese.
Yeah.
Look at him go."
Yep. You're like, man, I'm proud of him. He is like, moved on
So
from
good.
preschool Japanese to like elementary one. What a
Yup,
guy.
He's first grading all over the place. That's so cool. Good job, Greg.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
Gold star. The next morning, they reach the Yuri Kamome, which is a station of some sort, and they ride the bike up the stairs and hop on the abandoned railroad tracks. And Yoko is like, I wish we could have ridden a seagull, though. And Irie is like, we can't do that, silly. They pass a bridge, and Yoko is like, look, the Bay Bridge. And Irie is like, no, that's the Rainbow Bridge. And Yoko is like, damn, well, they look the exact same. They start singing another song and then arrive at their destination of the Tokyo Big Sight. So my note here says I've never been to the Tokyo Big Sight, but this is a convention center, and it was featured in 2.5 Dimensional Seduction, and they had an episode where they went to the Comet Con cosplay event at this location. And we do see an ad for the Comet Con also in this episode of
that's cool.
Touring After the Apocalypse.
That's pretty sick. I've never seen this building in real life. Whoever put it together, that is an architectural like marvel. It looks like a beautiful building. And I would be so afraid all of the time being in it.
Why?
The whole time. Because it is 4 upside down pyramids held together by hopes and dreams, and all of the pressure is going towards those 4 different hosts, right? And then you can go in the center. Dude, I DJ'd at Brew Brothers on a bridge. We were on the 2nd floor. And once like the crowd started jumping up and down, you can feel it move like it's an
Yeah.
earthquake.
Yeah.
It was terrifying.
No.
No.
Let the
Because I was
energy
like, one
take
day,
you.
we're all going down.
Let the
and we're
collapse
just gonna be
take you.
We're sitting on fucking 4th Street, all pile of bodies and DJ equipment.
You wouldn't go to Las Vegas Stratosphere and ride the roller
No.
coaster at the top?
No.
I have.
No. Absolutely not.
It was pretty
Greg,
lame.
I am so afraid of heights, dude. So afraid of heights.
This wouldn't scare you because the roller coaster was so bad. They also have like the at the very top they have like the needle thing with the where it just shoots you up. So you get like
No.
that was pretty
Mm-mm.
lame too.
I know, I'm not saying they're lame. They're probably really fun and a really exciting experience. It's the fear is encroaching on me now, right here. Like when people are like, "Oh yeah, we did like the crane dinner where you put him out over like a 6 or 8 foot or 8 floor building and you have dinner in the air." Fuck that, dude. And I would no.
Are you the type of person that would go to like the Sears Tower and then they have that single block of like glass that you can like look
Nope,
down?
absolutely not. I would never stand on that. I have a trouble with like Ferris wheels, dude. Like fully enclosed Ferris wheels with like nice air conditioned rooms. Like, no, still scary. Still scary. 18th floor of a hotel, looking out, I'll be a foot back so that I don't feel like I'm going to die.
Well, Yoko was like, damn, the building is really inverted triangles. That's crazy. And it has a wide shot where you can see the building, but also a giant-ass tree thing in the distance. They stand in front of the building, then look between their legs to invert the building so the triangles are right side up. And I have a note here that says, I don't know if that's actually a thing, but I imagine it is.
Yeah, that seems pretty hilarious.
They go inside and the lower floors are flooded, and they walk up an escalator, and Yoko says it's hard to walk up when it isn't moving. And Irie says that humans subconsciously change posture and position to take into account the movement of the escalator, even when it isn't moving. They get to the main showroom, and there's nothing there. And Yoko is like, but there's bikes all over the place in this picture. But Irie says that was the 65th Tokyo Motorbike Show, and it was held here once a year, and bikes from all over the world were exhibited. Yoko is like, what? They aren't always here? And Irie is like, nope, this is an exhibition center used for all kinds of events. Yoko is like, well, let's get out of here. But Irie sees a little stand with some manga, and Yoko picks one up and is like, sick. I don't get it, but it looks cool anyway, and I can tell whoever made it had passion. And Irie is like, passion. They leave, and Yoko is like, we didn't get to go to Yokohama, so let's just get naked now and swim in the ocean. And they change into their swimsuits and do some warm-up stretches, and Yoko is like, okay, here I go. But Irie stops her and says that the ocean is full of dangers, so she's going to go first and scope it out. Irie reaches into the water and does some sonar thing, and she's like, doesn't seem too dangerous. And Yoko is like, sick, here I go. But Irie stops her again and says something is coming. And it's a bunch of penguins. And then the text says, because they had like a text pop up at this point in the scene, the text says that maybe these penguins escaped the aquarium, and unlike Antarctic penguins, they live in temperate areas and are resistant to heat.
The penguins are the cutest fucking things in the world, man.
They're not bad.
They're so adorable.
Then Yoko chases the penguins and jumps into the water with Irie, but Irie is like, I can't swim, and I don't float. I'm a robot. And she plays in the shallow area by herself. But Yoko gets her a tire inner tube to float on, and they have a nice time swimming with the penguins. They take a little nap by the ocean, and Yoko has another dream sequence of the exhibition hall full of people and motorcycles. And then she sees a bike similar to hers, the Sero 225. But she's like, it's a little different. And she hops on, and then her sister rolls up, and they take a cruise with the bikes. The difference is that one's gas-powered, hers is battery. Spoilers. Yoko wakes up and gets on her bike and makes motorcycle noises, and Irie is like, yeah, it originally came with a gasoline single-cylinder engine. And she's like, how did you know? And Yoko is like, I had a dream about it. And she said it was super realistic. Irie is like, wait, I hear a sound again. And she said it's music. And she tells Yoko to use her radio app on her phone and tune into 85 megahertz. And Yoko said they haven't been able to use GPS or the internet since they left the shelter, and Irie tells her to pick up the radio wave. Yoko picks up the signal, and it's a radio station with some dude announcing t-shirts from it-aesthetics.com, where he told all of the listeners to use tab C10 at checkout for 10% off of their order, or tab C5 for a stacking $5 coupon off of their order that they could use at it-aesthetics.com to get a t-shirt like the new one that I received right here.
Well, that shit's sick. Dude, oh, that's so fucking sick, Greg. Man, now I want to play Cyberpunk. Shit, dude. That's so good. God, dude, these shirts from IT, they're so fucking sick, man. It makes me mad.
They had the buy two, get one free, and you can use tab C5 to get $5 off additional on top of that coupon. So you save even more money to look even more cool.
Style funky fresh, dude. Holy shit.
But no, it's some dude announcing, and he says he's from the Akiba broadcast station, and DJ Akiba Jiro the Second signing off. It is. It's DJ Montague. And that's the end of episode 3.
Yeah, they say in English, see you next time. Stay tuned. Bye-bye. And I say that every night. every night that I DJ, that I close the bar down, I say, we have one very important rule here. If you do not work here, or you are not fucking somebody that works here, we're gonna have to ask you to leave. Get home safe. And then I shut the microphone off.
And then the guy with the tequila bottle as a vital instrument just stays and keeps drinking.
Yeah, he's like, hey guys, I'm trying to fuck somebody that works here. Anybody, any takers? And then we throw him out the back door. I like touring after the apocalypse, but it's also like there are some situations where I'm like, okay, all right, let's keep it going. Because it is very cinematic. It's very pretty to look at, but it's also like, I don't know the culture like that, so.
I think the reason why Apocalypse Hotel worked so well is because the entire staff is robots. So here, it's like some of the stuff that they do survival wise, like I said in episode 1, where they were throwing fucking cinder blocks on their solar panel to charge their bike. And then in this episode where they're just laying on a hot car and they don't have any water, it's like what the fuck are you doing? Like, it doesn't really apocalyptic part of the show where it's assumed they're the only two until just now, right? They're the only two like people that are on the surface. And then they went through all these houses. They just kind of hit the jackpot when they find food. It's kind of annoying. Like, they found the military ration truck. They find like literally a safe and a floor full of fucking food. It's just kind of like,
they don't even like save some for the ride. You have to assume they do, because they would probably take some of it. It's also, it's so far-fetched in like, the apocalypse stuff is totally believable because we live in a hellscape. But the fact that the survival of these two children imply Irie is probably going to be fine. She probably doesn't need to eat as much, and that probably doesn't recharge her battery. She's just doing it for taste or whatever. I don't fucking know. But it's definitely like there are some situations where you have to suspend all disbelief, including the disbelief that we're in the fucking apocalypse for a second. It's definitely weird.
And that's why I said Apocalypse Hotel did it better, because the robots don't need to eat. They just kind of run the hotel because they were programmed to run the hotel, and then they charge occasionally. That's all they really need. But here, it kind of takes away from the aesthetic when everything is so convenient. And what I was saying before, it's like their clothes are never ripped, they're never dirty. You know, it's not really showing me that they're like trying to survive. It's just it's two girls going on an adventure.
Yeah, 100%.
But also, you know, we're seeing a little bit more of Yoko now, because every episode she has this like dream sequence or whatever. And in this episode, she said like, oh, it feels so real. And she was pulling information out of the dream sequence that actually was real. And Irie is just like, how the fuck do you know all this shit? She's like, I saw it in my dreams. Maybe now this is like a little breadcrumb showing that, you know, Yoko might have some clairvoyance of some sort, and then she'll be the one to help fucking rebuild the world at the end of this thing. Who knows?
Sure, whatever.
It's a fun show.
If they go down that route where it's like a Delamain situation for Cyberpunk, where they like meet like an AI at the end and they're like, we're gonna have to repopulate the earth, how do we do that? And it's like that, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck is going on? Because it's like, I don't know, the show so far is so just like, it's episodic. It's just every episode is its own isolated thing. I guess they'll meet some people, hopefully, or I mean, they might just be playing a recording.
We don't know, but I assume that's going to be their next destination for episode 4.